my office chair. My office only has one chair, so we're sharing the chair. But hello, everybody. Happy Friday. We hope you had a great week. Let me push this back a little bit. This is what I get for being lazy because I didn't feel like setting up my phone tripod. So I'm doing it like the hatchback way. But we hope you had a great week. Everybody's doing well. I was sick all week, so that's why we didn't go live because clearly, as you can see, I'm the camera woman and whatnot. So I'm better, like 90% better now. I'm just letting all the stuff drain out of me. And then this weather in Georgia has been all over the place. So yeah. But we just wanted to come on here, say hello. And my mom personally wanted to thank you guys for all the advice and concern on the last live we did, where she was talking about moving to Guyana. So she just wanted to talk about like walking by faith and not by sight. Because that's one thing we do in this family. We walk by faith, we don't walk by sight. Not to say you throw wisdom to the wind and you don't, exercise discernment and wisdom, but walking by faith has gotten us very far. And so I'm just gonna let my mom like share a little bit of her story, the maybe like one or two examples, or just flow as to like how walking by faith has helped her and why this move to Guyana is not stressing us like, oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do? How are you gonna get there? And this and that the third. Like, of course, if you have advice, keep sharing the advice. We appreciate the prayers, but yeah. So I'll let my mom take it from here.
Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? Well, I'm doing so. Yeah, I've been looking at all of your responses and your advice and so on. I thank you very much for caring enough to give me advice on things that some things like the going back information with taxes and stuff. I wasn't too aware of that because that was not in my plans for years. But in terms of survival, I know what you guys are thinking, and I was there back in the day. But now I have to go back to Ghana. I absolutely must go home. And I'll tell you why. I have to move by faith because everything and every door for me is closing if it not has already been closed. I'm not seeing any way out to survive in America the way I used to. When I first came here, I was young and I worked on my day job, and then I gave that up and decided I had a daycare center, and I would work till 6 o'clock, and then I do family dinner, and then I go to work at the nursing home at 11 to 7, and I had to speed home to get there to receive people's children, or my husband would take them in, and I come in, take a quick shower, and take over. And that was my life from Monday to Friday. And then Saturday, I go to the supermarket. Saturday night, I go for a 12-hour shift from 8 to 8 Sunday morning, and I take care of an older person at their home. And I did that for years. And I was never tired. Tired was not in my vocabulary. And if I didn't get to sleep enough, it didn't bother me. Nothing bothered me. I had a goal, and once I set my mind to it, I could have done it. But I'm not there anymore. I'm now 74, and I cannot not sleep. If I don't sleep, even if I don't want to sleep, I have to go and lie down. My feet would be swollen, my blood sugar would go right up to 296 and those crazy numbers and that kind of stuff. So my life has changed considerably. And when I planned my life out in the United States, I had a plan to go back to Guyana, always go back to Ghana when I get old. And I used to discuss it with my husband. He's now deceased, may his soul rest in peace. I used to tell him, let's do some here and some there. He said, no, let's finish here with our children and give them a sound education. And then we're going to work on ourselves to go back to Guyana. What he said made sense, lots of sense. And we did just that. And as soon as we were finished with the last child, which is the one sitting right next to me, Rondale, and she graduated from college, he got sick. And he got sick, then he got laid off. He was never able to get another job. and everything went up in flames. Every single thing. We had a beautiful home that we built from the ground up. Anyone was welcome in that house. As long as you knew us and you had a problem and you didn't have anywhere to go, you were welcome to stay with us for free.
And this is a fact.
And
Okay.
this is a fact.
Like
If
I
I
grew
can
up
give
with
you
so
names
many
to
people
call
in the
and they
house.
will tell you.
Yeah.
You live for free. You come, you sleep. You have to have order because I'm a very orderly person, highly disciplined. And you're going to do what I say. I don't care how old you are because you're living in my home. And if you're going to stay in my home, you're going to do something with your life because I don't have time to play. I want to see progress. And as long as they follow that rule, they can eat because whether they come to my house or not, I had to go to the grocery store. And as you guys know, I love to cook.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cook and I'm going to put food in the fridge and whatever, and they can eat. They can come upstairs. So I had a fully furnished, finished basement that my son lived in, and he was willing to accommodate anybody that I asked him to accommodate down there. And they come upstairs and they do their laundry. They didn't have to buy anything to do their laundry. Everything was there. I treated them like my own children.
That's where the name Mama Martin came from. From our friends that either stayed in the house with us or my parents would, particularly my mom, because my dad was always working, would be the one to help out with whatever their needs were. So,
And those were joyous days. But the thing about that was that it came to an end once Luther got sick. And then everything started to go wrong. Because remember, as you guys know, you live here.
well, some do. Some
Well,
don't.
for those who don't, for those who
We
live
live in
here,
America, yeah.
you know it takes everybody working together. So it was his income, my income. You know, we everything we did as a team. So once he got sick, he couldn't work. Then I'm the only person. I would do my catering in between and stuff. And then my son, he had a lot of friends. So when they have parties and so on, they will tell him and they will order the food from me. They didn't want me to cook that for free. Whatever was my price, they will order it. He would deliver, or if I'm invited to the party, I will go to show them my gratitude that they're giving me business, and I would take the stuff and we would have a good time. Their weddings, they would take engagement parties, they would order from me. So they kept us going, but we could not do as much as we were doing before because Luther was an accountant and he made good money. He was a cost accountant and he made good money. So when you accustomed to all this money, you're living in this big house, you're paying this crazy mortgage and all this stuff. When you got to work to do all of that by selling things to make up the salary and all that kind of stuff, it's not as good as when you're actually on the job.
And let me add too, like my mom is the oldest of all her siblings, as we said a couple live streams ago. And so she's almost always been in the position where she had to figure it out. And so she's a very solution based woman. This is a woman who, when my grandfather died, her father, she was what, you were what, 28?
28.
28. And she took care of all her younger siblings, vowed that to my grandmother, took care of their kids, started trading internationally before that was even really a thing that you could really do for real. You know, now the statute of limitation is passed, so we could talk about it now.
Then it was very illegal.
But
And you had to have brains to do it.
exactly. So my mom, she's done a lot. And she's worked in the government in Guyana. She's done a lot here. She's been in management. But everything that we do, like I said at the beginning of this live, we move by faith because we've had to. You know I've had to. I was raised like that. My mom's had to. She's had to trailblaze and do things that people haven't done before. And so a lot of times in life, we get stuck. Thank you for liking, Samir. A lot of times in life, we get stuck because we're looking at all the things that could possibly go wrong. And again, like I said at the beginning, that doesn't mean that moving by faith means you toss discernment and wisdom to the wind. But we also got to look at things when they're starting to be shown to us. So like as my mom navigated different spaces in life, she was successful in all that she did. Yeah, you're going to hit obstacles. Anywhere you go, like my mom has said, you got to take the good with the bad. Like, no decision in life is just going to be easy peasy. Oh, everything just worked out phenomenally. Sometimes, yes, but you're going to have your obstacles. You're going to have things you have to overcome. But when you start to see that the rivers are drying up, when you start to see the doors are closing, when you start to see things are not working like they need to, you don't need to force it. It's time for you to move. That's God clearly showing you the river has dried up here. It's time for you to go to a new tributary. It's time for you to go to a new land. It's time for you to do something new. And sometimes that's physical, like it's been a couple times in our lives. Sometimes it is figurative, like it could be a job, it could be a business that you need to close and start a new one, it could be a school, a degree, whatever, a relationship. But we don't need to overcomplicate it, and that's what ends up messing us up when we overcomplicate it and ignore the signs. And so my mom has been very she's made it to 74 years by being a risk taker. To experience great blessings, you're gonna have to take some risks. Like that's just what it is, you know. But it's like that's where that faith comes in. So this is something that she's speaking from experience and so many different life experiences, and just like she was saying with the house and the income and all these things, it's never been a situation where it's like, oh, I could just go live with so and so and they'll take care of me. My mom's always been the leader. Always, like always people looking to her, always people looking to her. Even now at 74, people still looking to her to lead. And now me and my siblings are like in the middle. We're the middlemen, like, oh, hold on now, like give my mom a break, you know. So now they got to get through us. But when we were younger, it was like she was always leading. So you know, that's why she's such a big walker of faith. I just wanted to interject and say that. But yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, so we got to the point where it was completely out of our control. So we had to walk away from everything. Every single thing we had to walk away from and pretty much start over. Luther never got over the starting over. Because, he was a church goer and he believed in God and stuff. And so, but Luther did not have the strength that I have. He used to look to me for that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, what are we going to do now? We are going to do nothing. This is the faith that we have to show faith. And this is the hand that has been given to us. And we're going to have to take this hand, study it, and run with it. And get back to somewhere. We may not get back to where we were before, but we're going to get back someplace. Because life goes on. Because the way I see it is that whatever age you're at, and you're alive, because if you're listening to me, you can't talk to me. Your spirit might be listening, but you can't talk to me. Once you can respond to me, and you can tell me how you feel about the decision that I have made, that you don't like it, and you feel that I'm going to fail, and you don't want me to hurt, you are alive. And if you're alive for a reason. God kept you alive for a reason, and He's keeping you alive for a reason. And God didn't keep me alive, and He's keeping me alive. He kept me to see my 74th birthday. And I know He's going to keep me to see my 75th birthday December 2nd next year. And since He has kept me alive and He's keeping me alive, there is a purpose. I don't know what it is. Because we don't have any personal discussion. Because if I see Him, I mean I'm dead. So I don't know what is the purpose. But I know the things that I like to do and what I've been doing.
He's called you to do, yeah.
And that He's called me to do. I have my little non-profit that
No, it's never little. The big non-profit. Never the little one. Always the big. Which, if you guys, side note, if you guys want to check that out, go to DurantFamilyFulfillmentGroup.com. DurantFamilyFulfillmentGroup.com. I'll put it in the description box. But all of these things, and that's the thing too. God not only shows you with the rivers drying up that it's time to move on, but since last year when we were in Guyana, because we go to Guyana quite often too. So I don't want you guys to think like my mom just woke up and was like, I'm moving to Guyana. Like she said, this has been the plan for decades. But we were noticing different things in the industries that our businesses and nonprofits are in, and we were like, it's time. Like when you're communicating with God, when you are seeking His face, when you're trying to be in tune as best as possible, because we'll never have it all figured out, but that's why we lean on His understanding and not our own. you'll notice the doors when they're opening up. You'll notice when it's like, okay, he's making a way for me here, or he's making a space for me at this table, or whatever the case may be. And one of those major things was the nonprofit. Let me turn the camera because I feel like I'm leaning. And one of those things was the not major things was the nonprofit, because we started finding out different things about different organizations that no longer help or are no longer there, and we're like, okay, God, we see you, because this is something that my family's been doing for generations, but now it's like it's time to step up. There's an assignment that needs to be accomplished. There's things that need to be done. This isn't like we're just going just to test the waters. It's like, no, we know we have a job to do. We know it's time, all those things. So that's why my mom's like, yeah, like I might not know the whole purpose, but I know what God has called me to based on
Exactly.
what I'm drawn to, what I have a passion
Exactly.
for, and using her gifts and talents.
Yeah, because I grew up watching my grandparents, my parents always helping, and then it just became a part of what you do. Somebody needs help, you just help. And then we started the nonprofit, but the nonprofit basically was run all the time by me and my siblings, because we decide w- back to school here, Christmas this, whatever we're gonna do, and I sit down and I calculate what I want done, and then I call up everybody and I say, well, look, this is what we need. I need a price in Guyana. There's only one sisters in Guyana. She and her friends will go get the prices, and then they will send it to me. And I would just divide it up because I know it's so many of us. And I divide it up and I send it to everybody. This is what I need from you. This is what we're going to do. And everybody send their portion. And if they don't have enough, they say, well, I got so much, I'm going to send it. Whoever got more, make it up. At one stage, you were doing talent shows, and the talent show came with the model dresses that you could wear to prom and that kind of stuff. And the price was 100,000 Guyana dollars. But that came from us. We put it together and made it. And then the sister in Guyana, she knows quite a few little people because she has a nice job, government job, so she knows people. And she would get little things that make baskets. So everybody who participated would get a basket, and it was like a real beauty contest, like if it's some big shot sponsoring it. Because we wanted to get the young people involved. They had to do cleaning up in the village and different little things they had to do. And those things call for money. And when I was there last year for Christmas, I found out that organizations that I knew about that was in Guyana, that are American organizations, they are no more. So you have old people in Guyana who need a step fixing. If you walk on a step that is not good and you get a slip, you could break your knee.
Yep.
So somebody got to fill that hole. Churches do the best they can, but who churches get the money from?
Exactly.
The members. And where the members get the money from? Their jobs. Most people can, if they do take home that much, probably carry home $120,000 a month. Well, I mean, if you went to Ghana recently and if you're living in Ghana, you know $120,000 isn't doing much for anybody.
Right.
So now, how are we going to repair the step? Granny need to fix her step, and I really want to fix Granny's step. But you got to first fix your step where you and your family living before you can go fix Granny's step. By the time you're trying to raise the money, Granny could be dead from falling down that step. And these are the things that need to be done in Guyana.
People
and
need
schools
food,
and food,
uniforms.
We do back to school. This year we did back to school, and it was the poorest back to school that I've ever seen. Because at the same time my husband was dead, and we had to bury the dead and all of that, and we just barely was able to do a couple bags and put a couple
But
of
next
things
year we
inside.
popping out big.
But
Because
next year
now
we
we're
gotta-
solidifying
Exactly.
everything with partnerships. So that's why I was like, check out the website if you want to partner with us through donations or whatever. But also, people need training. You know how many people that I'm connected to in Guyana are like, oh my gosh, like, can you teach me how to do this? Can you teach me how to do that? These are things we want to offer. And that's why we're like, it's time. Like, we're called to this, because these are things we're passionate about, and we have the grace and the focus to do it, to teach these things. And we have a vested interest, because at the end of the day, we are of Guyanese heritage. So we're going to be invested. Like, these organizations in America, not to say that they don't truly care. I'm sure, they just have a benevolent spirit, but it's personal for us. Like, this is where
my father
we
told
come
me that.
from. Like,
He told me
so
that.
it's yeah, like it's deeper than just, oh, we just trying to be, getting money or whatever. Like we genuinely want to serve. Like we really hurt where we're not able
This
to meet
Christmas
certain
we are
goals.
not
We're not
even
even doing the
doing
elderly
what we do.
gift
Last year we had so
baskets
much
because
fun.
we're all moving to our respective homes. So last year it was a lot of fun, but next year is gonna be bigger and better. Cause like when my mom moves, we gonna be doing these lives. We gonna be on camera and all that, and we will thrive. So we don't want you guys to fret. We don't want you
Yeah.
guys to panic.
And don't lose faith.
Don't
Don't lose
lose
faith.
faith.
You just
Yeah.
keep me in prayers. Just
Keep her
keep
in
me in
prayers.
prayers.
And the biggest thing you could do beyond the prayers is also supporting. So keep watching the videos, keep sharing them out. Check out the websites when you have a chance. Sow into the nonprofit whenever you're able to, or if you're not able to, share it. Sharing goes a long way because you might not be able to, but someone you know or someone that knows someone you know might be able to. So we appreciate that because we were looking at the analytics and you guys do share a lot. So definitely keep it up. Thank you for subscribing and all the things. But yeah, like
And we have a store.
Oh yes, I put it in the
If you
description
don't
box.
like anything on the store,
We're gonna
you
add
just
more
show your
designs.
friends.
Yeah. So we just want to encourage you guys to walk by faith and not by sight.
Yeah, I am
'Cause that
walking
is
by
going
faith.
to be the thing that benefits you. Even this morning, we were talking about things that we might possibly ship and things we're not going to bother to ship and stuff. And we were like, you know
Exactly.
what? Let's just not ship certain things. Like at the end of the
Yes.
day, because
Money.
when we
Money
moved
to
to
do it, we don't have.
exactly, and
So
when
too many things happen this
not
year.
to ship all at once. Like we gotta come back and all this kind of stuff. So I know when you guys hear that, you're like, no, don't do it. But the money will come. We're not worried about the money and all that kind of stuff. But it's like at the end of the day, we could just buy certain things when we get there. There's no point in paying double, triple the price when it's all said and done. When you could just go there and get the same thing. So
You buy
we're
it
just
here, then you
gonna
got to pay to ship it, then you got to pay taxes on it.
exactly
Just as how God provide for us all the years. Because
all
when
the
we
times
moved,
my
when
mom
we moved to Georgia,
we were homeless.
this here, this was the worst of my life.
This
Because
was
when we came here because of a job offer.
yeah.
And when we came,
They reneged.
well, we didn't see the people.
Yeah,
The
they
people,
reneged.
the people who offered the job couldn't go through with the job because of COVID. But the people who said, I got you, not money, because we told them
Yeah.
up front, we did not need money. We didn't need a loan. We didn't need anything. All we needed from you was advice for safe neighborhood. And because you live here, just to give a recommendation. Never saw them or heard from them until today. So we couldn't even find a place to rent.
We were homeless for
We
almost 2
were
months.
what you would call homeless, but decent homeless because we lived in hotels.
Right.
And that was because I had Marriott membership at that time. And I was able to use it with the help of young people that were in my life for a long time, were able to help with getting discounts. And so we lived there until we found this house that we're living in. And we were blessed to get this house brand spanking new to
With
rent.
no income, savings pretty much depleted.
Yeah, we couldn't tell them that we got no income really because nobody was working because we
Right.
can't even find a place to live. And then it was brand spanking new. We're the first people that moving here. And it was at exactly the price that we wanted to pay.
The cheapest home in this neighborhood. And let me just turn this camera around and show you guys so you can understand the magnitude of this testimony. Hold on. How do I turn this camera up? I feel old. So this is the type of neighborhood we live in, y'all. These homes, and there are even bigger ones down the street and all this. And it's a mountainous area, so a mountain view and all that. We're at the valley part of the mountain. And we got this home brand spanking new. I'm talking construction tape still on the walls, sawdust in the garage with no income. They didn't bother to even verify income and all this type of stuff. We got it for less of a deposit than you would need typically to live in a place in Georgia. Cheapest home in this neighborhood. This was set aside for us.
And the only one that had that
and
cheap
the only
price-
one that had the cheap price. And we had prayed and fasted and everything before we moved to Georgia. But again, like I said earlier, in this live stream, obstacles are going to come, even when it's something God is leading you to. But it's your faith in those moments that's going to push you through. It's that mindset and your faith in those moments is going to help carry you through. And now we're able to say 5 years later, like God did a miraculous move when we moved here. And that to me was even more scary than us moving to Guyana because I'm more familiar with Guyana than I am with Georgia to even to this day. Like, and I've been there 5 years. So we were really moving to unfamiliar territory, but God showed up and showed out. You mean to tell me he can't do the same or even better in Guyana? Like it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
The
yeah, that'll
testimony is
be.
loading. Y'all just wait because we gonna be on live and be like, y'all, we got something.
Yeah, and we are gonna make you guys proud.
And things, and let me
Just
say
stay with
too,
us.
things are coming together as well. So, again, just thank you guys for the concern. As my mom was responding to comments, she was like, "Oh my gosh, people are worried and this and that." I'm like, "Yeah, we're just gonna go on live and tell them, don't fret,
Yeah.
just keep us in
Yeah,
prayer.
yeah, don't
Things
get
are coming
sleepless nights.
together." Yeah.
Say your prayers. When you say your prayers, put in a prayer for me. Keep good thoughts. Remember, remember this. When I started cooking and started getting to know you guys, I never used to see a thing, and you trusted me. You trusted me with the cooking, even when I did the live cooking, that some of you bought the tickets and came on and cook alongside of me and all this kind of stuff. You trusted me. Still keep trusting me.
Yep.
I will never let you down. I keep my word because my word is my bond. Just keep praying for me. The money will come because I don't know where it's coming from right now. But I know by January 15th, I gotta be out of here and I gotta go to Guyana, take care of the things that y'all suggest, things I gotta get in place for to go back to Guyana and all of that. Then I gotta come back and ship whatever I can ship. And what I can ship, I'm gonna give it away. They have organizations that will take it. They got people worse off than
Yeah,
me.
people who really need it.
And
So.
God's gonna give me the money to refurnish my home in Ghana because I have to rent. We gotta teeth out the whole house in Ghana.
And we're not gonna be
We're not gonna
struggling.
go. We're not gonna go into
Yeah,
the teeth
we're not
out of
going to
the
go
house.
into that. But we're going to rebuild our house in Melanie. But by no means are we going to be struggling in Guyana. Like the cost of living still, is it more expensive than it used to be? Of course. It's more expensive everywhere in the world. So that's just what it is. But we're not going to be struggling in the sense of like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to pay my bills? Like, no, we going to be good. We're going to be walking into the overflow. And it's time to be in the overflow. So now we can not only be in the overflow, but we can bring other people in there with us. There's a lot of work to be done in Guyana, and we have a heart to do it. And so we just ask that you guys continue to keep us in prayer, especially my mom, because she's the founder of the nonprofit. I mean, we all work in it. Like I'm more the admin, secretarial side. And, we have people in different roles and on the board and such. But just keep everything in prayer. We'll invite you guys into the back end of stuff, behind the scenes. And if you're in Guyana and you want to partner with us, then let us know. We're gonna need help. We're gonna need volunteers. And if you're in America or England or Canada or anywhere else, and you're like, I want to help the cause, then by all means, like I said, just check out the website. But those prayers are definitely just keep them coming because God is always going to show up and show out about His children, and that's just on period. So we're not worried. We're not worried at all.
So I gave you guys a little bit of my story. If I would have to write a book to tell you all my
Yeah.
story, and I'm still breathing because I'm here for a reason. There's a purpose. None of us that are alive, we are mistakes. We're not mistakes. We're here for a reason. And I thank y'all so much. I was so surprised that y'all were so worried and concerned and think, no, nothing bad is going to happen. Nothing bad is going to happen. And anything you know that in terms of advice and going back to Guyana, what happens in Guyana that you think I may not know,
Any tips, tricks, things like
you
that?
just let me know because
Yeah.
information is never too much.
Just
You just send it.
yeah,
just keep
just send
sending
it.
it so that I could research it and see well if it applies to me or whatever the case may be. I love you guys for being there. I don't have parents that have been there forever, so you guys take all those places. I lost siblings and all of that. Thank you for
Yep.
caring that much.
Yep, 74 years sitting in front of you that's lived through a lot of different things and endured a lot, took care of her family in the midst of it and everything. And when I say family, I don't just mean husband and kids, I mean siblings and their kids and all that too. So thank you guys. We're going to wrap this up and we'll probably go live again, maybe Sunday because tomorrow my mom's going to be at the store. I'm going to be ripping and
Yes, I
running
gotta go to the store
and
tomorrow
stuff like that.
and do some laundry and stuff.
Yeah, so maybe Sunday we'll pop in. And maybe you could let them in a little bit more into your life then or something. We'll see what we feel
Yeah,
led to talk
we
about.
see what happened
Yeah.
with as our thoughts go around as to whether we should. But I think I made my final decision on that. Trying to ship these things is going to cost too much and it makes no sense.
Yeah, not
You
when
know,
you get the same things there. Like,
not when Ghana
and the
got
price is
furniture and everything,
comparable.
and so you
So
know.
it's just like at the end of the day, we good with that. But again, drop any tips and tricks, anything that you might have done or know of or heard of. You could always comment it. We'll look into it. But other than that, y'all enjoy the rest of your Friday. You want to say anything, Mom?
Yes, enjoy the rest of the Friday. Stay safe because it's a weekend. Have fun, but stay safe. And continue to pray for your life and put me in your prayers. And I thank you very much for your support and your concerns. And stay safe. I keep stressing that. It's the holiday season. Have fun, but be safe. And I love you guys.
All right. Bye, y'all.